joining us now with more. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer is with us. Sir, how are you?
I'm well.
Well, I would imagine it falls under the purview of the House Government Reform and Oversight Committee to look into, okay, how did the cocaine get there? What about the two previous instances of drugs in the White House? And I ask you, Congressman, what if it was anthrax? What if it was fentanyl? There have been police officers, law enforcement, that have just touched bags and contraband with fentanyl in it, ingested somehow some of that dust, and they need Narcan 5 minutes later. So how dangerous is that in a building where the president is?
It's very dangerous. It's very disturbing. One of two things has happened here. Either, number one, the Secret Service is lying to us and they're covering for someone, or number two, they're incompetent, because this is supposed to be the most secure dwelling in America. And for the Secret Service to admit to the world that not only can they not figure out who dropped off a white powdery substance in one of three locations in the White House, that, remember, that story's changed 3 times where the cocaine was actually found, but also that there have been 2 other instances where illegal drugs were found on the premise in the White House. This is unacceptable. We spend a lot of money, a lot of tax dollars to make sure that we have the best Secret Service that money can buy, but yet they can't determine who brings illegal substances into the White House. I think that's very disturbing.
Congressman, I'm equally as disturbed that they gave up after 10 days of investigating and announced on day 11, we're done. We're not going to find the person responsible. That, to me, is the height of irresponsibility. I would like answers from the Secret Service why they gave up so quickly.
That's a great question. You know, they spent 11 days to try to figure out who left an illegal substance in the White House, but they've been spending over 5 years investigating the Bidens for all their money laundering, all their racketeering, all their tax evasion, and according to U.S. Attorney Weiss, they're still investigating the president and his son for bribery and for potential wrongdoing. So it makes no sense. You know, the Secret Service hadn't really received a black eye like the Department of Justice or the FBI, but unfortunately today, this is another name on the list of agencies that have run amok. Again, either they're not being truthful with the House Oversight Committee or they're incompetent by not being able to determine who left this substance. It's hard for me to believe that our technology at the FBI couldn't identify some DNA on this bag of cocaine.
Well, if they had not been politicized, I might have confidence in them telling us the truth. You have made a lot of progress in your investigation into the Biden family and the foreign business dealings of the Biden family. You have a very important hearing next Wednesday. Why is that hearing going to be different? I understand that we might be hearing a lot of new information.
We've been sitting on some new bank records. Obviously, it's very encouraging to read the transcript that the Ways and Committees had with the transcribed interview with the 2 IRS whistleblowers, because they actually knew a lot about many of these shell companies, and I think they were on the right track until they were told to stand down. So the American people are going to get to watch live both whistleblowers, including whistleblower X, who's never revealed his identity. He will do that the day of our hearing, and everyone can see. Hopefully Fox will be covering that, Sean. And we have specific substantive questions about many of these wires, about many of these shell companies, about potential money laundering, about potential racketeering. And I believe that these 2 witnesses are going to be able to answer those questions. So many times, Sean, you have these congressional hearings and, you know, they're all hat and no cattle. You don't really learn anything new, and they're not substantive. This should be a very substantive, informative hearing for the American people. And this is going to be the first time the American people actually hear credible witnesses say under oath exactly what crimes have been committed by the Biden family.
Do you have standing to go before the judge? They have this plea deal, no jail time for Hunter. Do you have standing to go to this judge and request that this deal not be agreed to by the judge because of new information and new evidence has been forthcoming?
We have to go through the Department of Justice, unfortunately, for things like granting immunity.
No.
Yeah, right, no. long story short.
All right, let me ask you this. When we got these WhatsApp messages, I'm sitting here with my father. We would like to understand why the commitment has not been fulfilled. Tell the director we'd like to resolve it now before it gets out of hand, and now means tonight. And Z, if I get a call or a text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang, or the chairman, I will make certain that that between the man sitting next to me, his father, Joe, and every person he knows, and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I'm sitting here waiting for the call with my father. Okay, Joe Biden, he's implicated his father again. He's been implicated on many times. My question to you is simple. That to me sounds like a shakedown, Mr. Chairman. That to me sounds like Joe Biden full involvement. And 1 week, less than a week after that exchange, didn't the Biden family get $5 million transferred to them from that energy company in China?
Yes. And remember, that energy company is the same energy company that was paying Gallup, and the Department of Justice indicted Gallup on being an unregistered foreign agent, yet Hunter Biden received about 25 times more money from that same Chinese energy company, and they let him walk free. So we're, in addition to having the committee hearing with the IRS whistleblowers, where we're going to be able to ask very substantive tax questions, we're also going to be having depositions and transcribed interviews where we can ask people exactly what Joe Biden knew and when he knew it. So I think next week has the potential to be a very productive week with respect to our investigation. And I think it's going to be, there will be a lot of questions that Joe Biden's going to have to answer. And I don't know how much longer the mainstream media can turn a blind eye to this, because the evidence is overwhelming that many crimes were committed. And obviously, Joe Biden had to be front and center in this.
Chairman Comer, thank you as always. We appreciate your time. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.